Yeah, zig, zag, zig, 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 zag, zig, Oh man, this is very scary. This is a Bobby, not the ordinary.
Hey everybody, what's happening? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Intelligent Boss Moves, and I'm here with my friend Mr. Damon Dash. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. I was just bringing attention to the fact that I wear the tie now and you don't. I don't know what's going on there, but it's okay.
I just, you gotta keep them a step off. Just wanted to kind of throw you off balance. But
so now they're gonna think I'm you and you're me. Actually, that's
there you go. Well, people have confused you for me and vice versa. Remember that the thing about the liquid money quote. There was a quote about black people being liquid money.
The Jewish thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I didn't say that.
And I put it on Facebook, and next thing you know, it was a meme that was going all around the internet. But it had the same quote, but it had your face on it. So
I've seen that. I'm like, I said some shit like that, but I didn't say that. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't matter. It's totally fine. But as long as the message gets out.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to ask you about is this, because this is something you and I haven't talked about, but I'm curious to know about this. I remember when Kanye, you were working with Kanye West at Rockefeller, and he came out. Kanye kind of pushed himself out. It seemed like he kind of knew he was going to be whatever he is now back then. And there was a perception that Kanye kind of forced his way out when he wasn't being sort of pushed out by the label. Can you kind of talk about that and how that went down?
Nah, that didn't happen like that at all. What happened was Kanye was known as a producer, and we looked at him as such. And my thing was, look, because you produce so many records for so many artists on Rockefeller, all you have to do is a compilation album, and we get the rappers to rap on it, and you'll be able to go gold at least. You know what I mean? A compilation. But Kanye was like, nah, he played me records with him rapping on it. And he was also the kind of guy that would rap at any place. But what happened was he had gotten to that accident in LA and broke his jaw, and I sent him a drum machine, and he ended up making Through the Wire and shooting his own video with Kudi and Shike. And, Biggs and myself were so impressed with his effort that we decided to push him. But what happened was there was another record out by the Young Guns called Can't Stop, Won't Stop, Rockefeller. It's one of those joints, and it had like a ridiculous amount of BDS detections, which it spins on the radio. So I was talking to Lior about Kanye and putting out the Young Guns, and he was like, we can only afford one. And I was like, huh? This dude Kanye is going to be that guy. And he was like, well, we can't afford to put them both out. So what I did was I went and was going to put out Rockefeller through Warner Brothers, but I think with Tom Wiley and one of those guys. But the people that he had me with were saying things that were retarded to me. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go from one dumbass to another. I'll just keep them on Def Jam. And because of the fact, or get it distributed, with the co-venture that we had existing, and because of the fact he had all of these records that were coming out, it kind of pushed itself out. And I had put him on this record that I had him produce with me called We Are the Champions for the Dream Team album. And it was actually getting played in Chicago. So it was the first record. And I put him with Beans and Young Chris and Cameron and Kanye. And it was the first time that he was really recognized as a rapper on a legit level. And it got added in Chicago. And from then on, it just became us supporting whatever he was doing. You know what I'm saying? So, it wasn't that he had to push for us to believe in him. He had to really push for everyone else to believe in him. And, even within the label, Jay was against me giving him the record deal and putting him out, and there was an issue there. But, it was like whatever, because me and Biggs, we always had a vote, and me and Biggs voted to put him out. So we actually fought for Kanye pretty heavy, Biggs and myself, yeah.
So do you remember the first time you met Kanye?
No.
Really?
Yeah, because he was a producer. He was like a young kid. I remember hip-hop playing his beats, and then me giving the beat to like Beanie, and then him making a record or something like that, you know what I mean? And then he started to come around. I can't remember the first interaction I had with him, but I remember him, as that young, quiet dude. I remember on H to the Izzo, he had tattooed all the records that he had made on his arm, and I thought he was a little crazy for that. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, he had made so many, but I was just like, damn, he's, But I was always impressed when I finally did recognize him as an artist that, if I was like, yo, if there was two people in the room and I'd be like, jump on the table and rap, he would. You know what I'm saying? Even to the extent that I almost had to kidnap him to bring him to Europe for the first time, to London, because I've been spending time in London, and I was like, listen, in order for you to get a good reception in London, if you go out there and plant the seed, they'll like your arrogance, they'll like the fact that you'll jump on any table and rap, and your show, and they'll be receptive to you. And it ended up being like the largest selling artist in Rockefeller and Def Jam overseas history, and I'm sure he gets a lot of money overseas behind that. You understand? Yeah, he found his DJ out there, A-Track at the time, because I was doing my thing in London. I was coming once a month, pause, and I was bringing an artist each time. So he was the artist I brought that time, and A-Track was out there, and all these other people, but that's basically how that went down.
So you're a pretty confident person, and Kanye's known for being really confident. Was there ever any clash due to that?
Kanye wasn't really confident like that around me.
Really?
Yeah, that side of him I didn't see.
Really? So you think that's more of a stage persona?
Meaning, I think he's confident within his music enough to jump on the stage and rap, but as far as us, talking and stuff, it wasn't the super confidence. It was more of a respectful listening kind of thing. It still is. You know what I'm saying? So there would definitely be tension sometimes if I asked him to do certain things when he started rolling that he didn't. You know what I'm saying? But, that's how all artists are. He did at some point. It was actually a little harder for me to accept him and embrace him as a bigger artist, and when he started acting like one, because I had known him when he wasn't such a big artist. So, I'm the kind of person that the way I meet you is the way I see you for life. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's to default. But, because people have to grow. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you see someone on the block, he's a kid, and then you come around 10 years later and they want to be respected as a man, and you're still giving them kid props, and they feel they need to take those props as a man. You know what I mean? So, I always looked at Kanye as sort of like a younger little brother that should just be listening to everything I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, there would be things he would resist. Especially, I think the one time we butt heads was, I had developed a clothing line for him with Rockwear, and we had spent like $500,000, and he started acting too funny, and it was just like, I ended up losing 500 racks because you're indecisive. And he didn't really, that was about it. But he was always trying to be in fashion. I still got the samples that I made with him with the little bear and all that, and that was an issue. And I think one time I was aggravated because I thought Beanie was going to jail because he was on trial for attempted murder, and I had wanted him to make enough beats for Bean so that if he went to jail, he could always put out an album every year and get an advance. Because at the time, if you sold 500,000 records, you get $1 million advance on Rockefeller. So if I could keep him at 500, I knew he'd always have $1 million for his family. So I was trying to make like 5 albums real fast. So I was like mad because he wouldn't give me no beats for Beans. I was never really mad about anything he did toward me. I get mad when people don't support the rest of the family. That's the thing that would aggravate me the most, the way I would support them. My support is different than everyone's support, just like my survival is different than other people's survival. So that's how that would usually go.
So you kind of saw Rockefeller like as a family type situation?
100%.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no doubt. Like if I get money with you, we a family. It's not the traditional blood family, but there is a family. You helping me feed my kids, I'm helping you feed yours. So if I'm there with you with the good, I got to be there with you with the bad. That's why every time, Beans would get jammed up or be going to jail, I'd be right there in Philly. When he went through his trial, it's a murder trial, I would drive back and forth from Philly to New York every day for his trial.
Wow. Wow. You don't really see that much in the industry. I mean, you don't really see people really going that far for people that they work with.
I've never had the desire to be like anyone in the industry. I've always not wanted to be like the way they act in that industry. You know what I mean? I've always, if they're doing it that way, I got to do it this way. And, because of the fact that I'm cut from a cloth where honor means everything, and, in the industry, honor means nothing, it was real easy for me to identify and be different than the regular industry person. To this day, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll never be industry. I actually walked away from it completely once I realized that I could do it completely on my own. Once I saw that was possible, there was no way I was going to backpedal and be told or be around a bunch of squares and lames all day. It just wasn't going to happen.
So do you avoid the music industry for the most part? Or?
I don't avoid. I mean, to me, music is an art. It's a passion of mine. You know what I'm saying? I can monetize it, but I'm going to do it as I feel, not as somebody else feels. I'm not going to try to make someone make music that's just going to make me a bunch of money, but, compromise the integrity of the music that I love. I only affiliate myself with music that I love. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't look at it as an immediate business. It might be an investment. I like having catalog. I like being able to use music that I make in movies without having to pay for it because I made it. I own it. Licensing is also really good and heavy as well. Just like the Black Rock project that I did. I got the Black Keys, the #1 rock and roll group, and I put them with, RZA, Mos Def, Raekwon, Q-Tip, Pharoah Monch, a couple of other, Jim Jones. And it was something that I could have got a big check for and had it come out commercially, but we decided to do it on our own and do a deal with Sims, which is the major one-stop, where the one-way sale, and just do digital. For music, for me, I'd rather just do digital and vinyl. That's it. You know, that's really all I want.
So how do you feel when people use terms like music mogul or hip hop mogul, stuff like that? And I mean, do you feel like it's a constraint in terms
Yeah,
of
I
finding?
always tell people I'm a tycoon. Don't call me a mogul because I sell oil. You know what I'm saying? Like I sell more than one thing. You know, regardless of how much bread I may have in the moment, you know, I'm still have a lot of product to sell. You know what I'm saying? So I consider myself a tycoon, not a mogul. You know, the reason why is because they call everyone a mogul. And there's this perception and stigma with a mogul, like I said, that you got to do like 10 different things to be a mogul, you know, or to be looked at as a successful mogul. And who wants to be doing 10 things all the time? You know what I'm saying? Like I do a lot of things that inspire me, you know, and it doesn't mean like while one thing is rocking, the other thing is a seed that's just planting. So it takes patience for this. But while this is rocking, but it's like people pay attention to the thing that's not rocking, that you're just investing in, as opposed to what's rocking when you're a mogul. They want everything rocking.
So what would you say is good and bad about the industry right now?
I'm not in the industry right now.
I'm just based from an outsider's perspective.
I mean, I would just say it's the same fucking people in the industry that it was there 20 years ago. When I walk back around, if I go to an old party, I'd be like, oh, y'all just look fat and old. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's what I see. But you're still trying to do the same thing, pimp somebody else and, you know, and that kind of thing. Roll with what's hot in the moment. You know, I never really was a fan of the industry, ever. I'd never been a fan. I've never acted like I was a fan. Like every time there was a camera on me, I was barking on somebody in the industry. You know what I'm saying? Because they were robbing somebody from the independent mind state that I was from. So I never hung out with somebody because they were famous. You know what I'm saying? I would actually not hang out with somebody because they're famous. You understand? Because that's not how I value a person's worth. You know, I don't consider a good person by the amount of fame that they have and celebrity. I'm not hanging out with you. You look like a herb if you do that to me. So I just think maybe the problem with the industry is it's too celebrity driven. You know, it's not about the quality of the music. It's about the quality of the person's celebrity. And that's it. You know.
Yeah, it does seem like you have a lot of people now who are just famous for being famous.
Right.
You know, they just, you try to say, well, what do they do? And there's no.
They're famous.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, and I wonder if that's just an artifact of the internet. Do you think
It's because of reality shows.
Really? What do you think about reality shows?
I mean, I'm on a couple, but, you know, I've done some, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I think a reality show is a good platform when you're not doing no bubblegum shit. You know, I look at the reality show that I would do more like a documentary. What's a documentary? It's a reality show, you know what I'm saying? But, like, when you have a reality show where they're just contriving stupid shit and you're showcasing it and then people are buying into it, you know, for a lot of people it's not sustainable, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, all right, they're the wave today, but they won't be the wave tomorrow. But there are a couple people that have been sustainable, but they've worked really hard at being a celebrity. You know what I mean? So I think if you're a reality star that's famous for being famous, then there's going to be a lot of effort in being famous. You have to sacrifice your life, and famous has to then become a lifestyle. You have to jump on any red carpet you could get on, and, you know, every time you're someplace, you're going to tell the press so they can take pictures of you and, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, I've never been that kind of a celebrity. I've been a celebrity of quality, of taste. You know, I want to be known for that as opposed to just being a celebrity. Like, I'm known to certain people. I consider myself known to, you know, that pyramid, that tip of the pyramid that affects the rest of the world. The tip, I influence people that influence people. You understand what I'm saying?
Interesting. Well, you know, that's good stuff, man. I mean, I think that the substance definitely sets you apart. And I agree. I mean, well, you know, just my background. I never wanted to be, you know, I'm not as famous as you, but I got my, you know, I got my tribe. Right? I got my tribe. I've
seen you. I've seen you.
What I'll say is that, you know, with my tribe, one of the things I've always felt is the importance of having some sort of substance and authenticity there. You know, I like to be honest and real, but at the same time, if I'm not encouraging you to think or giving you something that's going to invoke some sort of meaningful reaction from you, then I feel like I'm wasting your time.
Your fans are going to be a reflection of you. So if you're a dumbass and you're known for doing dumb shit, your fans are going to be stupid. And when you perform, you're going to be performing in front of a bunch of dumbasses, and some dumb shit is going to happen. But if you're smart and you develop a smart fan, and when you perform, you're going to have a smart class or a smart environment, and some smart things are going to happen. So your fans become a reflection of what you are. You know what I mean? If you're spitting out dumb shit, then don't be mad when some dumb shit happens to you.
There you go.
You know, if you're spitting some smart shit, don't be mad when some smart shit happens to you. And somebody smart comes and wants a great opportunity or autograph, you know, something like that.
There you go. And that's how we became friends.
Yeah,
this is a smart guy. And
this is a smart guy.
We learn from each other, and it's great because we end up in the same place, but we have divergent paths to get there. You know what I mean? Like I always say, we went to different schools, but we both learned a lot of the same things. Like even I still remember when you and I were talking about EBIT, EBITDA. You said IBIDA, and I said IBIDA. What's that?
Yeah.
And I said, oh, EBITDA. That's what he's talking about.
EBITDA,
and he explained it with precision, as well as any professor could explain it because he's
I've
lived.
sold companies based on my EBITDA.
Bingo, there you go.
Why,
Right.
And the only reason why I know what EBITDA is because I had to sell based on a certain, formula.
There you go. So let's build up our EBITDA. All right. So everybody, that's the lesson for today. Make sure
you might want to tell them what that means.
Build up your EBITDA.
What's EBITDA?
EBITDA is EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation, which is basically the
profit.
There you go.
Net.
All right. Well,
not gross. Net.
Not gross net. Well, thank you very much. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Intelligent Boss Moves. This is Damon Dash. So until we meet again, take care, everybody. Talk to you soon. Peace. Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Intelligent Boss Moves. This is Mr. Damon Dash. How you doing today, brother? Doing good.
I just like to play a little bit. Pause.
Oh yeah.
You can have fun and be intelligent.
Hey, I hear you, man. We had a long day, so we gotta find something.
I'm only halfway there. I gotta go to the Damon Dash show.
Hey, you know what? I'm impressed by that because I'll be taking my nap.
And we're shooting Music Moguls at the same time.
Yeah, you're shooting Damon Dash show, Music Moguls, and Intelligent Boss Moves all at the same time.
And then also interview with a sponsor.
In an interview with the sponsor.
Person that builds my platform, yeah.
So you got a lot of stuff going on.
I wouldn't like it any other way. I hate to hurry up and wait. I hate that.
Hurry up and wait?
Yeah, that's what, when you make movies or you make films, because you're always breaking shit down and breaking up, it seems like you spend a lot of time sitting around doing nothing. And I hate doing nothing. I always got to be doing something.
I agree.
Especially when it's just rolling and talking. We could do that all day.
Well, you know what's funny is actually I actually got a lot going on too, I guess.
You do. I see you in another room shooting interviews. You got your other producer here. You rolling. You doing your thing.
Yep. Well, but this is your thing. This is your thing. I'm here to support.
This is our thing.
Well, this part is our thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing is we actually do have a movie coming out, Resurrecting Black Wall Street. So we're going to be shooting some scenes for that tomorrow. And also for the Black Business School, we're shooting some stuff.
Okay.
So
I didn't get invited to be in the movie.
We're shooting a few things. Well, Dame is part of the Black Business School.
I'm not in the movie. It's all right.
Well, actually, we're going to get you in the movie.
Right.
But anyway, okay.
Thank you.
No, absolutely, son. Always glad to give a young guy an opportunity.
Appreciate it.
But so let me ask you this, man. A lot of people talk about famous, seemingly successful people who are not doing as well as everybody thinks. People think that being famous comes with automatically being rich, and that's not true, especially in, say, the music industry or the film industry. Can you talk a little bit about that in terms of where misperceptions might occur? If I see somebody and they got a hit record, or I see them on TV all the time, I'm thinking they're doing well, but they might be struggling. How do you reconcile that?
Well, number one, what happens is someone will think that because you got a hit record or a hit movie that you're going to be rich forever. That money runs out. It's hard to be rich at a sustainable level for decades and decades and decades. That means you got to be rolling for decades and decades and decades. You have to remain active. You understand what I'm saying? So, like when Cope was here, I was like, look, the thing that was impressive about Cope is that he's around my age and he's still buying houses, where a lot of artists only make their most amount of money in the beginning in their 20s and 30s, and they got the big house when they're 20 and 30, but 40 and 50, they can't afford to evolve or buy anything bigger. So, it's not easy to remain relevant and to remain wealthy or rich for years and years and years off of one thing, especially when other people are probably monetizing it other than yourself, your one asset. So, and then also when it comes to like music, you might say, all right, well, this guy's famous, but that doesn't really make you money unless you figure out a way to monetize it. So unless you're getting a bunch of endorsements or unless someone is paying you, because that's, generally what happens, you get a celebrity and then, you have endorsements. But if you're a controversial person, how are you going to make your bread? So if you're a music guy, the only way you can make your money is the show and your merch. How else you making money? You understand what I'm saying? There's no other way unless you're getting endorsed. But if you're not getting endorsed, how are you going to get it? You understand? So, yeah, people always, and also people tend to spend more money than they have. They want to look way richer than they are. I mean, at Rockefeller, we did that. We were, even in Harlem, our model was a lot of flash, no cash. You understand what I'm saying? That was our thing. You know what I'm saying? That was what Rockefeller was. And that was another thing. Like, with Rockefeller, we had 10 million. We was acting like we had 100. If we had 1 million, we was acting like we had 10. And that's why when I read things and see things, I'd be like, well, if that's the same model that we always had, then I can't believe everything that I read or see. Never. Because I know that we put that smoke screen up. Perception was a big part of our game. Because the more you look like you have, the more opportunity that tends to present itself. You understand what I'm saying? And in Harlem, that's all it's about, is fronting. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. But, you know, that's why I had to get out of that business. It wasn't about perception. It was about reality. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, in the moment, I was like, damn, I'm making money at Rockefeller, but it's not going to be enough for me to be all right when I'm 44 or 50. And I'm not going to be trying to push rap when I'm that age. I'm an older dude. You know, that demographic is 15 to 25. But from 35 to 45, 45 to 50, you know, fashion works, movies work, informations work, but rap don't work for me at that age. You know what I'm saying? I can't be jumping around on the stage popping champagne at 44. I'll be looking crazy. I'll be with my back hurt. You know what I'm saying? I'll be tired. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing you want to see.
Well, you know, it almost seems like for some people that don't have that perspective, it's almost like being successful at an early age can almost be a curse as much as a blessing, in the sense that, you know, if you make $1 million in 1 year, it's easy for you to go a couple million in debt.
Right.
And then if you never get a chance to make that kind of money again, you'll be in debt for life.
Shit, don't go to child support. Like, you got a girl pregnant while you rolling and she takes you to child support.
Or several girls.
Whatever, you know, and you're expected to pay a certain amount of money. When you're not making that bread no more, they still want that money. And most men don't go to court for a downward modification. They're not going to try to do that. So you end up owing or ended up with warrants and all kind of stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it seems that when you're at your top, the tippy top, you start signing contracts to pay these bills for the rest of your life or to pay expenses for the rest of your life. And when you're not making that much cash flow, what you supposed to do?
Well, that's a stressful life, you know, where you feel like you have to be a level 10 just to make your bills, which are a level 9.8.
That's
you know what I mean?
That's my stressful life.
Wow.
I'm always using my own money. So I remember when I was using other people's money, it was a lot easier. But again, I had to sacrifice a lot of my integrity, a lot of my quality of living inside here in my soul. But when I became independent, it was signing on to a struggle. Like, yo, if you got money in the street, if you $6 million invested in the company, what you gonna do until you get it back? You got to keep making money. And also, you need money to invest in other stuff. So if you got to wait to get your money back, you can't even make a move until you pull your money out of what you just invested in. So there's definitely always that hustle and that bustle and that Peter paid Paul, and you know what I mean? And when I am completely flush, it's not for long. Because there's so many things that I want to do that I'm doing it. And that's how I feel. When you're used to getting money, you're not used to not having what you want when you want it. So as soon as I see something I want, I'm getting it. No matter what. If I got to struggle for it, I'm mad at myself for having to struggle. I'll get yourself out the hole. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead and get it.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, so you talk about being completely flush and not wanting to be completely flush. But what about when you get
Depends flush. If it's $1 billion flush, I'm good.
Okay.
But if it's not a sustainable flush, it's a toilet flush. You understand what I'm saying? Like, unless I got enough money to take care of my kids, I can't just hold that money and look at it. I got to keep flipping it. I want a football team. So if I got 10, I got to invest that 10 to make it 20, invest that 20 to make it 100, invest that 100 to make it $1 billion. I still got to fight, a struggle, but it's something I'm going to enjoy because at the end of the day, there's something I want. You understand? If I wanted to live a regular life, I could have been did that. I could have been had a nice couple $1 million house, couple of cars, all that, but I need that jet. I like it. I want to live aspirational. I don't have to have it, but you know, if I can try to get that, I'm going to try. I want an island. I want a yacht. I want those things. Those things exist. I've been on them. I've been on other people's, and that's another thing. Once I want somebody else's something that I want to go get it. It's just the way I am and the competitive nature that I have. You understand what I'm saying?
So you think that exposure in your 20s, your early 20s, like played a part in terms of where your aspirations are?
100%. 100%. I'm from Harlem. I'm from the days of being a teenager but having enough money, more money than most adults, where an adult couldn't tell you what to do or give you advice because they haven't made as much as I have. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, that's just what it is. And, you know, I'm still around people that came from that era. You know what I'm saying? We still have the same aspirations of winning, but at the end of the day, it doesn't come before paying for kids' college, though. It doesn't come before private school. You know, it doesn't come before the stuff for my family. But after they get it, then, yeah, the rest goes into the street for I could go buy that football team.
So what are your grandkids going to say about you when 50, 80 years from now?
I don't know. It depends on the grandkids or their mothers, but you know they should. You know, but I feel like they should probably be like, this is the guy that put us on, and he's the one that set the bar. Hopefully I'll be the brokest out of all of them. Hopefully I'm not the rich guy. My grandkids should say I was broke because they got so much paper. You understand what I'm saying? Like I should be the least wealthiest of my kids. Moving forward, they should be better than me because they don't have the same problems that I have. The only thing that stops them is being lazy themselves. So if I made it where you got an education, where you got college, you have support while you invest in a business, then you should be balls to the wall. You should be going hard until you get it. And if you give a good effort and you're cut from a certain cloth, I've never seen that not result in success. So if you give an honest effort, you give 100%, you should win. I haven't seen anybody play honest and give 100 and lose. I've never seen that. I've seen people play, cheat, and quit and fail. I've seen that happen. But I've never seen someone give 100%, play the game right, they get knocked down, get back up, and keep doing it and being persistent at it. I've never seen someone lose. And I always say for any business, to just even get sustainable is going to take 5 years. And after 10 years, you're good forever. You understand? If you could last 10 years, you're a brand, A1. If you probably take 5 years to sustain or be sustainable and make money. But if you could last for 10 years, you should never have to worry about that ever again.
Well, it almost seems to me that one of the keys to wealth building comes down to understanding that you are, as you talk about, playing a game that goes across generations. If you look at any wealthy family, any family with billionaires where money's been passed down,
Right.
there's always that generation they can point to where they have the guy or the woman that started with nothing and built something, and usually that person's life was a complete hell. They had to be built for a certain kind of struggle.
Right.
They were committed to something that was even greater than the money. The example I think about is the Mormons. When the Mormons, with Brigham Young, they were being persecuted by other white people, because they were Mormons. And so he said, instead of enduring the persecution, because you hear a lot of people talk about it, a lot of people be going through all kinds of shit every day at work, and they just find a way to survive in the middle of their discomfort, just to get comfortable in the mud.
Right.
He, instead of doing that, he said, no, we don't deserve to live like this. We deserve to have our own. But they had to go get their own. So what they did was they packed up 250 families in covered wagons, and they went all the way across the United States. And I think a third of them died on the way.
Damn.
So it was a tough struggle. And they were looking for the Great Salt Lake. That's where they were going to settle. So when they got out there was nothing out there. There was no companies to go get jobs from, nobody to give them a bank loan, nobody to go teach them how to do anything. So they just started where they were. They started planting potatoes so they could have food. Then they built a house. They started little businesses. They went through the struggle. And just 100 years later, Salt Lake City is one of the greatest cities in the country.
Right.
Billions of dollars in wealth there that never would have existed if Brigham Young had not had the courage and the audacity to say, let's go risk life and death and get in some covered wagons and go build our own. And I think that's what might be what your grandkids say about you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And maybe maybe my grandkids will say something good about me too. Who knows?
They definitely will. What do you think about, because, I look at, like, overall, the biggest independent revolution that I've ever seen, whether it's good or bad, and, I'm not saying I share the same opinions, but I feel like Cuba really did it. They really became an independent country, said forget everybody. We don't need big cars. We'll just have classy Cadillacs and all the other things that they just decided to be completely independent, And I don't know, the politics there because it's, a lot of people, but I'm just saying that's a place where I saw them kick everybody out and say we're doing it ourselves, even though we might not have the modern technology. And, I think it's opening up now. But that country's been completely independent for how long? Like 40, 50 years?
Quite a while, yeah.
A long time, and can't nobody do nothing to them.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, if you judge a person or a country's success just by how much money they have,
Right.
then you're missing like 95% of the equation.
Right.
There's a whole lot of wealthy slaves out here. People that got all kinds of, very high incomes, lots of resources, but they don't have that freedom. And,
Right.
and the thing is, if you can't put a value on that freedom, then you're going to feel like you lost when really you won.
Freedom is priceless.
There you go. It really is priceless, and I think that's important.
It ain't no amount of money that you could pay me to be a slave.
There you go.
At
All
all.
right. All right. Well, this is a good conversation. All right, everybody, we're going to wrap it up. So remember, freedom is priceless. So as you're out here struggling to get yours and to build yours, don't let anybody make you feel bad because your paycheck drops for a little while. That actually, if you keep grinding, that will be temporary, and one day someone will benefit because of the sacrifice you made. That's the example all throughout world history. You can't be afraid of going for your destiny, even if it makes you a little uncomfortable. All right, well, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Intelligent Boss Moves. This is Mr. Damon Dash. So until we meet again, stay strong, be blessed, be educated. We are gone. Peace.
Holla.